Boom, boom. How's it going? How's it going? It is your boy TJ, and welcome. If you've never been on this channel before, hey, how's it going? I'm trusting that you're doing well. And on this channel, we speak about doing business, building strong families. And above all of this needs to be on the cornerstone of property, real estate. I call that the real assets. Well, today I'm going to talk about a very interesting topic that was in the newspaper. I'm going to look here this side because this is where my other screen is, where we are going to be talking about a small article that came out in the newspaper. Very interesting for some of you who love real estate. And basically it had a big headline that said, "Pensioner gutted by demolition order." If you had to read that headline, it basically means that someone had to demolish a property that they had built. I'm going to read out the short story to you. However, in the comments, or not in the comments, in the description itself, I'm going to add this here link so that you can be able to read it out for yourself. Right. It says here, a retired police officer who spent his 900,000 Rand pension payout on building a block of flats. For some of you who don't know what a block of flats is basically a multi-family property. Right, so this person here has spent 900,000 pension payout on building a block of flats, has been ordered by the Gauteng High Court to demolish it because he erected it illegally. So the High Court has actually asked for the property to be demolished. So this was reported in the Sunday Independent, but I'm reading an article here from the South African lawyer.co.za, and all things to do with property. I like to dive into this, but let's go on to read what it says. And here it says Nyepas Shelane, that's the guy's name here, right? Who retired in 2016. So this is not so long ago. Built a double-story block of flats with 8 two-bedroom units in his yard in Park Hill Gardens. It's a decent area. In Jamestown, which is in the east of Johannesburg, without applying to the Ekurhuleni Metro for zoning permission. So Ekurhuleni is the council where this Jamestown feeds into, and if he was going to be applying for the zoning permission, that's where he should have gone, but not necessarily for himself, right? The father of two spent a further, on top of the 900, he spent a further 250 on legal fees, including hiring an advocate in a failed bid to overturn the High Court's initial ruling in September 2022. So it looks like this court case has been going on for a while. He said he is now too broke to pay for the demolition. So the High Court is saying pay. This is a guy who's a police officer, so he knows the rule very well. And he's just told the law that, look, I can't do it because I don't have the money. Right. Now, we're going to talk about what went wrong here. Okay? And we're going to talk about how can you get it right. That's what this video is all about. I like to jump into stories like these ones because we can learn from it as property investors. We can learn from it as business people that are building businesses. And we can learn from it in terms of from how can we build our own strong families around it. Because now his family is shattered here, guys. That's the bottom line, right? He's been working his life hard. And his retirement now, he thought good, it was a good investment to do this. But now his family is the other way around, okay? So we want to talk about this. Shelani had planned to rent out the flats and live off the income, which is a good thing. This is what we all aspire to do. There is ways of doing that correctly, which he estimated would be about 40,000 Rand a month. That's a good income of money, yeah? Okay? Don't think he was even getting that as a police officer, but I don't know. Check it out for yourself, how much police officers are getting. However, two neighbors, right? It looks like Napel and Durand held him to court for building without the necessary permits. How did they know? That's a good question there. We will come back to that. The initial court ruling that the building was erected without prior approval and that the structure be demolished was upheld in 17 November 2021, which is about a year ago. So this thing has been going on. The appeal judgment last month came 2 months after the Ekurhuleni Planning Tribunal Provisional approved an attempt by the same person, Shelani, to rectify the situation by belated applying for rezoning. Right. So looks like there's a bit of messy here from the tribunal, but actually the High Court is a higher office. So what happened? What went wrong? Number one, what went wrong here is that I am just going to go in verbatim here on this article. What went wrong here? This guy here is a police officer. He's an employee. He is thinking like many employees would think. I can do this. Number one. Number two, he is not educated around property because you can see he went on to just do it, right? He doesn't belong anywhere. That's why I say to you, come and join the TJ tribe. These are the things that we discuss so that you do not get into this soup. These are the things that we teach so that you do not get into this soup. But nonetheless, this guy here didn't join the TJ tribe. He did his own thing. As a police officer, he spent his 900,000. I am wondering whether the project was actually built correctly. That's another point. Another point is that he then built the block of flats and then someone, right? Someone who is his neighbor sort of like reported to them. So how did they know that he didn't have the necessary permits? Well, basically, when you are doing what is called, when you are wanting to do a block of flats like these ones, you would obviously have to ask. I'm saying obviously because I'm educated around this. I do this all the time in our real estate business where we do investments. I'm saying this because I do that, right? So the thing is, these guys know that the process of asking for permission at the council, which is called rezoning, the neighbors themselves would have needed to be asked for permission. And if they say yes, this thing would have gone on. If they say no, there would have been a little bit of dancing and so on until they've made an agreement. But because didn't happen, they went on to report this guy, the policeman. So it basically means that between these three neighbors, two kind of like understand each other and the other one not. And then they go on to talk about this policeman retired in 2016 and he had built these 8 2-bedrooms and without applying at the Ekurhuleni Metro for zoning permission. Let's talk about who is the person who's responsible for zoning. Or maybe let's start off by talking about what is zoning. Zoning is every property that you see in the country, it has a zoning. It's got a type. What is the land use of that property? That's basically what it stands for. So zoning is got zone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I think, yes. And there is a person who is supposed to help you out with this zoning, and that person is called a town planner. I've done a whole lot of videos around with a guy called Dumisani, but Dumisani is not the only town planner. There's so many Dumisanis out there that you can utilize. The point of me bringing Dumisani here is so that you can be educated with someone who is like him. And basically, a Dumisani here would have taken through this paperwork and gone to the Ekurhuleni Metro, and they would have submitted, maybe this property here is zone 1, and they would have gone in to apply maybe for a zone 3 or for a 4. It's a process and one needs to pay for it. So you are going to pay for the services of the town planner, and you're going to pay for the submissions at the council. The last I checked here, plus minus 100,000 is what will get you in to get the necessary zoning, and it generally takes plus or minus about a year. So that's what went wrong, right? Mr. Shelane, he didn't get the right advice. He didn't have the right team member on his team. He didn't have the right education. And then he went on, a father of two, spent a further 250 on legal fees. And I think he went to the wrong lawyer here. I don't know what type of a lawyer this guy is. But I always say that go to a property lawyer. But I don't want to comment much about that lawyer particularly because I don't know them. But for the purposes here of talking about lawyers, if he was spending 250,000, I mean, I look at what I spent with property lawyers. They would have indicated to me here, TJ, you need to go and get this paperwork sorted at the council before we even go and fight it with the legal. So a property lawyer would have said, hey, let's go into Mr. Durand and Mr. Napel and let me mediate so that they can you can get consent from them. That's the route that my lawyer would have taken in here, a property lawyer. So why am I emphasizing the property lawyer? There's so many lawyers. There's family lawyers, there's criminal lawyers, there's litigation lawyers. So find the right lawyer for the problem that you have. Okay, so this is a further 250 that literally, it failed. It looks like it, but based on this article that I'm reading, and he lost that. So now he hasn't lost 900,000 only. He's lost a further 250, which comes now to 1,150,000, and now he has to demolish this property. So what could he have done right? What could he have done right? That's what I want to answer. Now, number one, Mr. Shelane should have gotten the right education. When he had this idea, he should have said, right, who can educate me? And maybe he might have found us. Yes, the TJ tribe. And we would have educated him on, Mr. Shelane, what you now need to do is, the first thing is you need to get a town planner. The town planner would have come through maybe at no fee at all to just do a consultation, what can be done. And they would have given him the do's and the don'ts. After that, the town planner would have given him a quotation and say, this is what we can do. And then after that, he would have gone in to submit his application, and together with the application, he would have consulted his neighbors. Maybe the neighbors would have said yes. And upon that, he would then, when the paperwork has been approved, he will then get the permit to start building. And upon building, he would have spent the same 900,000. But I did say the last time I was doing some rezoning, I spent plus minus 100,000. So having to look the money that he has spent on 250 on legal fees, he would have spent half of that and he would have done it correctly. And he probably, again, with another 150, he might have even gotten some good education. The other thing that I see here is that he is a father of two, and now he has no income to support his family. And if I look at this, the article does not even speak about any other forms of structures. Why buy property in your name? So now we know who who is responsible here. If this was in a company, it would have shown that the company so-and-so did ABCD, right? And his name would have not been in the papers at all, right? So there are so many ways in which you can do this correctly, but I wanted us to discuss this article so that we are well informed that if you are to build incorrectly, if you are to build without the permission, you will get demolished. I haven't seen this in a very long time, especially in Gauteng. I've seen this in the Cape, yes, but in Gauteng, I haven't seen this. So let us assume that you have a project that is already been erected, and now you read this and you're like scared. Oh, TJ, I think I might just also get demolished. Calm down, calm down. All right. I am here to help you. Right. I can be able to help you. All you need to do, in the description, there is a form that says we can help you. And within that form, populate your details. If you've got a situation like this one, I can put a team together where we can understand your problem and we can be able to help you without having to go through to legal actions and things like that and potentially having your property demolished. Yeah, so I can help you. But if you don't want to do that, I don't know. When you get demolished, don't say I didn't tell you. My name is TJ. It's been great hanging out with you. What do you think of this comment? In the comments, let me know what you think here. This guy has lost here 900,000, an additional 250,000, and literally he's built this here. Are we going to see the city, the Ekurhuleni Metro, demolish this property? With a huge shortage of units that we have, I don't know. I don't think that they will. But the High Court has judged twice. So I do think that they will. But another thing that we can think about is that, does the High Court have the means to force him to demolish? It's a complicated story, but the bottom line is that when you are doing business, make sure that you're doing correctly. How do we become better people? Join the tribe. Start learning. Do things differently. Your family depend on this. His 2 kids that he was going to be giving this 40 grand to, they are not going to have this anymore. So you don't want this to happen to you. You can do better. Besides getting educated, I like this guy because he went on to do something, but he did it the wrong way. I'm trusting that with watching here and staying plugged on into this channel, you are continuously going to learn and are going to do things different. It is I, your boy, TJ. I will check you out, yes, on the next video. Don't forget to subscribe.